Greetings, roller coaster fanatics, and welcome out to a Fan Facts Park Tour, where I basically give you the 5 things that you'll love and the 5 things that will annoy you when going to the certain park. Let's get started. I know I'm going to get hate for this either way because it's basically the best amusement park in the world. We're talking about Cedar Point. So let's begin. So, of course, we start with the 5 things that I love about Cedar Point and that you'll love, and let's start with the 5th thing. So we're going to kick it off with the 5th thing, and there's a lot of good things about Cedar Point, so it's really hard to narrow it down to 5. So, even though this is at number 5, it's still really awesome, and that's the atmosphere of the park. This park is insane with its atmosphere. When you first walk in, you feel like you're at a boardwalk park. You're not even on an ocean, but you do feel like you're at the boardwalk park. There's all the theming around, the carnival attractions, just the way everything looks and feels and smells. It really makes you feel like you're at the carnival again, and it's really awesome. And then once you get into further areas of the park, then you feel like you're in this deep little hidden area, and then you feel like you're not even on an island. You're still part of the mainland, and it's really cool. I really love the atmosphere of Cedar Point. It's very notorious for having a great atmosphere. Okay, so let's go on to number 4 now, and Cedar Point is notorious for this. This is operations. Their operations are really good. They dispatch very quickly. Almost all the rides there, I think, have 3 trains, actually. That's a lot. That's a lot of trains, except for maybe 2 coasters there have. I'm excluding the kiddie coasters, but I think there's 2 big coasters that only, there's actually 3 big coasters that only run 2 trains. Gemini on each side. Then Corkscrew and Iron Dragon. I could be wrong with Corkscrew, but when I was there, I only saw 2 trains, so they could run 3 there. And overall, their operations are amazing. Like, some of their coasters even have 6 trains. Like, that's awesome that they're able to have that many trains so they can have that high maximum capacity rate, which is really nice. And of course, you know, it's Cedar Point, so of course they have to have good operations. Alright, now number 3 is a very interesting one because I never knew this when I went to Cedar Point for my first time, and then I went back again, and there's still more new things, like the fact that besides having animals, which is about, you can walk in. There's literally a petting area where you can walk in and pet the baby goats. The most adorable thing ever. And you get the pet goats. They even just for $1 have a huge cup of hay or seeds. You get to feed the goats, or you get to feed the horses and cows. Oh my gosh, and even the camels there too. Oh my gosh, they just have a nice little variety of animals. It's in a small little area, kind of in the shaded area next to Millennium Forest. But it's just really nice that they have that. It's like a nice touching moment that says, "Here, we will give you something more than just an amusement park. We have animals." So it's just a very nice thing that Cedar Point has added. So let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is rides. The coaster enthusiast's dream is rides. Now Cedar Point is notorious because, as it says on the shirt, it says 72 rides, and that's overall the amount of rides that are at this park. This is 18 roller coasters as well, but yes, 72 rides. That is right now the record for the most rides than any other theme park in the world, or amusement park, should I say. Because Cedar Point is technically an amusement park, but there is some theming there. But man, they have so many rides. And even when you exclude the rides and the thrill rides, you're still left with about 52 family rides. That means there's a lot for the families to do. Just skip the thrill seekers. If you're a family that wants to just come down to this park and have a good time, and you have that 48-inch height limit, there's so many rides and attractions to do for your little ones and to have a great time. Your kids will have a blast at this park. But now back to thrill seekers. It is literally a thrill seeker's dream. You have several different types of thrill seeking roller coasters. You have an inverted coaster, a wing coaster, a dive coaster, a giga, strata, hyper. The list just keeps going on and on and on. There are so many roller coasters at this park. It is insane. Now, they don't have 18 roller coasters like it says here, because they do count one ride that's more technically a flat ride, and that's Pipe Scream. So they have 17 roller coasters, but I mean, if you want to include Pipe Scream, I guess you can include that as 18 roller coasters. I mean, you know, go right on ahead. Alrighty. Now, the number 1 thing you love about Cedar Point besides rides, and this was really hard, I could have switched the 2, but I decided to put number 1 as this is more than just an amusement park. I mean, it really is true. Cedar Point is not an amusement park. It is a resort. It is a freaking resort. And the amusement park is one of their attractions. So they have Castaway Bay, I think it's called. It's an indoor water park. It's not on the island or peninsula, whatever you want to call it. It's offside in Sandusky. And it's really nice. So they have the indoor water park for the winter. So Cedar Point as a resort features several attractions. First of all, they have the mile-long beach. Mile-long beach. Oh my gosh. Mile-long beach. But besides the beach, you can also rent jet skis or sailboats and go out on, or just rent a normal boat, go fishing or something like that, or go waterboarding or water skiing. So much fun. So besides that, they also have camping trailers where you can go out and camp. It's a typical Cedar Fair thing. They also have nice suites, Sandcastle suites, and a Breakers Hotel, which is a great place to stay at for the hotel. And then you got the, they also have extra attractions for the Breakers Hotel, which is nice. Then they have the main theme park. And I also want to remember, besides the amusement park, excuse me, not a theme park, it's an amusement park, but beside that, they also have Challenge Park, which is closing down later this year, and Soak City. Now, Soak City definitely needs a little bit of a revamp, but it's still a great place for people to go and just relax. I mean, that wave pool was awesome. They have a great lazy river, a unique lazy river that features waves. I mean, that's actually very interesting. But it's just amazing how much Cedar Point is incorporated into being a full resort. It's just really cool, and I really like that about Cedar Point. Now it's time to get down and dirty with the 5 things that you'll get annoyed with when going to Cedar Point. I just want to say this. This was hard. I mean, this park is so awesome that it literally took me hours to figure out what are the things that annoy me when going to Cedar Point. I'm going to get hate any other way for this, so I'm good to go. Let's get started. The 5th thing, and remember, this is annoying. This doesn't make the park bad in any way. It just might be that little thing like, yeah, it can get tiring after a while, or it can get a little bit annoying, you know, stuff like that. They have to keep doing it over and over again or something like that. Does not make the park bad, and it does not make me hate the park in any way. So, let's strap in. 5th thing is basically a coaster enthusiast's nightmare, and that's lines. We don't like it, but we have to get used to it. Cedar Point is notorious for having lines because they get over 3 million people a year. Now, that's not saying much when you compare it to Disney or Universal, but we're talking about just amusement parks. We're not talking about theme parks. Amusement parks, they get a lot of visitors, and it's mostly in 1 month, and that's July. So if you go May or August, you're fine. Of course, Halloween, it's a little bit more crowded, so that's usually the best time for amusement parks, actually, besides July. But if you go in July, be warned. Lines will get really long. And even if you go on a Wednesday or Thursday or even a Tuesday, it's atrocious. I mean, 50-minute waits for almost every ride. I mean, when I went on a Wednesday, Maverick had an hour wait, Millennium Force had a 45-minute wait, and then Bower Event had a 120-minute wait. So that's your perspective of how, even for an amusement park or even for a weekday, it's going to be crowded. So you have been warned, and be prepared for long lines. So my recommendation, May or August, or late August once people start getting into school on the weekdays is the best time to go to Cedar Point. Alright, so let's move on to number 4. Now here's the thing, it's convenience, but it's outside the park. Because, to be honest, there's not really anything hotel-wise outside Cedar Point. You have to go about maybe 15 to 20 miles before your earliest hotel that I saw anyway, and even then that still had the Cedar Point prices if you don't want to pay high wages for staying outside the park. So it's really hard to find stuff to do in Sandusky. I mean, you could probably do stuff around the lake or go outside Sandusky, maybe over to Toledo. Toledo's a great place. There's something else to do there if you want to do the amusement park another time. But you're not really going to find anything to do in Sandusky. It was hard to find stuff in Sandusky to do. So I just stuck to the amusement park and stuff like that. So if you really want to find something to do before you do the amusement park, It's more likely going to be in Toledo or Cleveland. I didn't really see anything going to Sandusky, but I could be wrong about that. But just be warned that the convenience outside this park is not really that great. Now, convenience in the park, there's only one thing I don't like: lockers. Most of the rides some of the rides have lockers. Let's see: Valravin, Gatekeeper, Millennium Force, Magnum XL 200 now has lockers, Top Thrill Dragster, and I think it's just those 5. There could be more, but I don't remember. Don't forget Rougarou, because it's Rougarou, Millennium Force right there. Those 2 rides have lockers. So that's the only problem with convenience that annoyed me there. And lockers are $2 there. Now, the third thing that annoys everybody, this is just a normal thing. It really is. It's prices. And Cedar Point, knowing for being an insane amusement park and being very big and very famous, they're going to keep the prices high. I think I remember buying a fast lane there about $180. That was the fast lane plus. At my home park, it's $60. It's $120 cheaper to go to my home park than it is to go up to Cedar Point. But I mean, it's besides that, also prices are a little bit high for the season passes there. I think the Platinum Pass is like $220, something like that. It's a little bit more than your normal Platinum Pass, but still, I mean, prices normally they're pretty expensive. Food there is not bad. And I mean, their souvenir cups are, I mean, it's $15 for the green, and for the orange, it was $30, I believe. Just overall price are a little bit more than your normal amusement park since it is Cedar Point. Now, number 2, this is actually something that's very rare to annoy me, but it actually did. This was actually going back to when I first went to Cedar Point last year, and that is the Fast Lane Pass. It's not worth it. If you want to wait another hour or 45 minutes just like the normal queue, go ahead, because the Fast Lane is very popular there. So people buy the Fast Lane Plus to make sure that they can skip the lines to only be in another line. I mean, even in the line for Maverick, I mean, this is a warning. Maverick's line for Fast Lane is always an hour. It was an hour when I was there on the weekday, and it was an hour when I used the Fast Lane last year. Overall, I mean, it's a very popular thing, so do expect lines for a fast lane, which is, you know, not normal, but because Cedar Point's so popular, get a lot of visitors, they will try to make sure to look up the stuff first. They find there's a fast lane, so they want to buy it. They do, so now you have more people buying your fast lane, and now you gotta wait in the line. So the number one thing that annoyed me at Cedar Point is actually pretty rare to find in an amusement park, and that's their weather policy. Y'all know it. Y'all either love it or hate it, but their weather policy is very annoying, because that means even if there's a slight chance of insane humidity with a low cloud cover, expect all the rides to be shut down or running one train. I was there with the light drizzle. Now, I've heard some people say they actually shut down all the rides, but for me, it was light drizzle. They only had rides open for one train, but that was excluding Dragster and Maverick, which, you know, sucked. But I mean, just be warned, because they're on a peninsula, they get higher winds, so there's always a breeze going by. So higher winds might shut down rides like Millennium Force or Dragster, especially Dragster, actually. So be careful for the weather policy for that. And just basically, if they have a big radius too, so they do not want to have storms nearby. So even if there's a storm in Ohio, like in Toledo, they'll still start to shut down rides, because if it's on the way, they will shut down, which is safety reasons, which makes sense. It's just more on the fact that once the storm arrives and it doesn't really do anything, it's just like a light drizzle, they will shut down rides. Even that small little tiny raindrop, it's over. Like, you can expect a shut down ride. Yeah. So thank you all for watching this Fan Facts Park tour. That's the 5 things that I loved and the 5 things that annoyed me. They're pet peeves. Doesn't mean I dislike the park. Remember, Cedar Point is my favorite amusement park I've ever been to. It is truly amazing, and trust me, it was hard to find things that annoyed me at this park, since most of the stuff at this park is awesome. Like, it is awesome. You'll have a great time at this park. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out any other Fan Facts Park Tours. And I will see you some other time, or I'll see you at an amusement park. Thank you all for watching, and as always, roller coaster fanatics, keep coasting.